Hello, welcome to Parenting Versus Podcast in our backyard.
And a lovely, whiny morning welcome with kids to you wherever you are. You can hear our daughter. We just had breakfast. In the true form of like parent nerding out, we bought a picnic table yesterday. And so I was like, for whatever reason, really excited to have breakfast outside and check out our picnic table.
Oh yeah, and
That's the stuff you get excited about when you're 33 and a mom of 3.
yes, like buying something, being able to use it. It's a nice picnic table. Like it has kind of warped wood a little bit. It's been in the New Mexico sun for a couple years, but I'm pretty sure the guy built it.
Oh, nice.
Riley wants to go inside, so
Okay,
I want to talk more about the picnic table. But let me.
Fascinating, I know. Hold on to your hats. There's more to come with this picnic table information. No, it's pretty nice, though. It's thanks Craigslist. It was kind of funny, though. I was looking on Craigslist for picnic tables the other day, and I sometimes wonder, like, what planet people are living on. There was this really ratty, like, grubby, nasty, falling apart picnic table, and somebody was asking, like, $250, and I was like, never gonna happen. I don't know. It's just funny, the stuff people put on Craigslist. I'm like one of those serial Craigslist lookers just because I think it's interesting to see like what people ask for certain things. Because you can tell who's being like reasonable and who's being just straight up greedy.
You're talking about Craigslist?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love Craigslist. And our porch swing is still very squeaky, but forgive us.
I know.
Yeah, so found it on Craigslist. Paid like $50 for it. All the other picnic tables we found. Oh, Riley found his guitar. It's a old guitar that he just loves playing. Anyway, all the other picnic tables were $250, $200. Like,
But I feel like that's sort of greedy. Like,
well, I was talking to Easton, our friend Easton.
shout out to Easton.
Shout out to Easton. How many shout outs do we do in every
Like
episode? That could be like a Parenting Versus Podcast, like drinking game.
Shout outs.
Every time we shout out.
If you're drinking and listening to this, I think you might need to go seek some professional help. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
Please don't, like, don't make this your drinking game. It's not that exciting.
As we're drinking.
We're drinking coffee.
Yeah. But I was talking to Easton about the picnic tables, and he's like, yeah, just the lumber itself sometimes can cost upwards to like $150. So we had a pretty good deal. I mean, it's a little bit stained. I mean, a little bit like warped, like sun damaged. But
can't fix with
no, it's a good, sturdy, solid picnic table.
Yeah.
But I was going to tell you about our journey out there. Like, I didn't realize how vast our area is. Yeah, because I had to go to my parents who live in the South Valley of Albuquerque.
That's easily like a 40-minute drive in traffic.
It was huge.
Yeah.
So I picked up the truck, and I told the guys, like, oh, I'll be right there. It took me like an hour to get from the South Valley all the way to Rio Rancho, and he wasn't just like in Rio Rancho. He was
like outskirts.
Yeah, he was like dirt roads.
Oh wow.
It was crazy because they're like these nice, gorgeous houses, but they're on dirt roads. There's nothing out there.
Well, it's interesting because they built Rio Rancho with the idea that it was going to like sprawl out. Mm-hmm. So there's like their downtown area, like their city center where it's supposed to be in like 20 years is in the middle of nowhere. It's a nice area, but like it's literally like they built it with the idea that the whole city is going to sprawl out and eventually it'll be like a bustling metropolis. But right now it's just in the middle of nowhere.
Well, it did grow really fast. And in the 90s, it was like the fastest growing city in America, partially due to, a lot due to Intel.
Yeah, well, but, when we were moving here, we looked at Rio Rancho.
Yeah,
like it's a
nice town.
It was suggested by our realtor, and my parents checked it out. So
yeah, well, the guy I bought it from, he was super kind. Lindsay's gonna do something, so I'm gonna talk about something else because I wanted to.
No, I'm gonna stop our daughter from drinking the dog water.
Juliet's gonna drink dog water. Not good. She is 1, and she's to the age where she can explore our backyard, sort of. She's doing this like bear crawl thing. She walks on all fours. It's pretty darn precious. But yeah. So Albuquerque is huge as far as what I discovered yesterday. I mean, I already knew it was kind of big, but took me like an hour to get from the South Valley all the way to Rio Rancho. So it's pretty nuts. Where is she?
She's in the playroom.
Okay.
In the
And Dorsha and Riley's in there?
Riley's in Luke's room playing with Legos.
All right, cool. Yeah, the guy was super nice. Had an awesome house on a dirt road, and all of his neighbors had awesome houses. It was pretty weird.
Did he have an awesome life with awesome friends?
Well, he was a police officer.
Cool.
He had a cruiser, and his wife had a cruiser too. They're both officers, and they're both ready to retire. And it's like, yeah, we're moving to Michigan.
What?
So that's where he's from. He's from Michigan.
the place of dreams.
Yeah.
Okay.
I heard Michigan's beautiful though.
No, I have too. It's funny because you think of like Detroit and you're like,
Yeah, everybody thinks of Detroit right away.
like if you're gonna move to Detroit, you're probably not gonna retire.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Detroit is a puzzler for me too, because it's in Michigan, a beautiful state, bordering Canada, a beautiful country. Like, this is a place where nobody wants to live.
Well, it's the Rust Belt. I mean, it's the auto industry got pretty much like taken overseas, and so
Right.
it's a dying city as far as like it being a huge industrial city.
But they have like all the car stuff. Like they have GM is there. I think like it's Motor City.
There's this movement of people. I can't remember what they're called, but they are striving to revitalize Detroit, and so it's like the few native people that have stayed and like vowed to like renew and revitalize the city, and they're trying to kind of do what they did with. Do you remember when we went to St. Louis and they were sort of trying to urbanize like the old buildings and turn them into co-ops and things like that?
Right.
Farmers markets and
They're trying to do the same thing.
yeah, they're kind of trying to do the same thing. They're trying to bring businesses back. They're trying to make local things. They're trying to turn it into like a center
Yeah.
where.
Penny's gonna pounce on a pigeon.
Say that 3 times fast.
Penny's gonna pounce on a pigeon. Yeah, a little. Oh no, it's a dove. A little dove landed in our backyard, and Penny looks like she's gonna attack.
I hope she doesn't. That dove's really beautiful.
Maybe I'll scare the dove away.
No, I don't think the dove is scared. I think
No, I'm gonna scare the dove away so Penny doesn't eat it.
she's not that fast.
She is super fast. Are you kidding? Anyways, I'm sorry.
Okay. So anyway, there's a group of people in Detroit, and they are trying to basically buy and renovate downtown and make it cool and kind of revitalize the area. With a lot of artists and things. So it's kind of cool. They're trying to bring industry back, but in a different way, because they obviously know that like the auto industry is dying there. So they're trying to bring it back and do something else with like arts and breweries and coffee and art and
In Detroit or
Yeah.
St. Louis?
in Detroit. It's just crazy. If you look on Craigslist, not Craigslist, wow, on Zillow, like you can buy a house for like a couple $1,000s. It's like insane.
Maybe one day we'll end up in Detroit.
Yeah, well. I don't
Seriously.
know. Can you imagine though living in a neighborhood and having all the houses around you be empty? That's so weird.
Well, I bet you there's little pockets of places where people are like starting to come invest.
Maybe.
Maybe people from Portland where like their houses are where they're being priced out of their houses,
I feel like there should be a giant economic stimulus movement in places like Detroit, and like you should get some kind of government incentive, sort of like when you move to Alaska. Mm-hmm. Like you should get some kind of like government incentive to go live there and start a business.
I really don't think Detroit is that bad. Like if we were to visit, we would probably say like, oh, this place is awesome. Like they have NFL.
You'd probably try to move there within the next 2 weeks.
I know. Like that's like our personality. We go somewhere, we like it, we're like, oh, this is awesome. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's start a business. Okay.
Let's not have any plan at all, and let's just do it.
Let's sell everything and go. Tomorrow.
We'll tell everybody on Facebook and our community group and
Our parents. We'll give our
parents.
parents another heart attack. I know, our poor parents, like we do this to them, like we'll have a crazy idea and we'll be like, hey, this is happening. And they're just like, wait, whoa, what? I think that pigeon has a death wish.
He
by the way.
does. Oh,
There it goes.
there he goes, and
Oh.
Penny attacked.
Nah,
He was quick enough.
he's just teasing her. But yeah, we tell our parents, we freak them out, we put them through like emotional stress, and then we change our minds.
And in ourselves, we put ourselves through emotional stress,
I feel like it keeps us young,
or makes us old.
keeps us on our toes.
I guess.
Can you go check on Juliet real quick?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We're tag teaming this parent game this morning. Man, our swing is so squeaky. We need to WD-40 this thing like crazy. But yeah, so don't be surprised if within a few episodes we decide we're moving to Detroit and starting like a hippie commune or something, because that would totally be our style. But that's the thing. I feel like Detroit has potential. Obviously, before when it was a booming metropolis, like people invested there, people lived there. It was a big city. People put money into it, and it had an industry that supported the economy, and it had an industry that supported the people with jobs. So I almost feel like, what if you took that idea and you created another industry that could be like, I mean, you could even make it like the urban farming capital of the world, or, you know what I mean? You could do whatever you want, but you invest a little bit of money into that, and you give people incentives and incentivize them to go move there. I mean, I feel like it could totally happen, and I just feel like in this country, we forget that, like, we have old, like, industry, old buildings, old cities, things in our cities that exist that we could revitalize and make nice and new. But instead, we are so preoccupied with building brand new and expanding newer and making bigger and higher and taller lofts on the same buildings, when really we should be renovating and trying to revitalize the ones that we have, because that's partially our history.
That's the Portland coming out of you.
Is it?
Yes, Portland does that. They don't destroy anything. They kind of make things that are already existing better.
But that, I feel like that just makes sense.
Yeah. Here's one thing that makes me sad about Albuquerque. We had this awesome hotel on Central, and I think it was 7th Street. It was amazing. Like
The Anasazi looking one?
Yeah, it was like a Aztec pyramid looking, but with like Pueblo style.
It was
like,
at the turn of the century. I mean, this isn't recent.
It was demolished pretty recently.
Really?
Like in the 70s.
Oh. Well, I wasn't alive, so.
No, but it was right before you were alive. Hang on, I want to talk to you.
I hear crying.
They're fine. They're fine.
Okay.
So this amazing looking building was demolished, and what they put in its place was a parking lot. We needed more parking downtown, so they demolished it and built the parking lot. So that's the Albuquerque way.
What's that song? You paved paradise and you put up a parking lot?
I don't know, I've never heard of it.
Really? Mm-mm. Oh my gosh, that's like a classic 90s song. I'm not going to sing it for you, but you can look it up later.
Don't. So I'll grab our daughter.
Okay. Yeah, no, but that's true. Like, we have this book of Albuquerque then and now, and it's like pictures from the early 1900s, 1800s, showing pictures of, it's side-by-side pictures. So you see the picture of what the street corner or the building looked like then and what it looks like now. And the majority of them have been modified or rebuilt, torn down and rebuilt, and they look nothing like the originals. But it's such a bummer because, I mean, man, Albuquerque had some really great, really structurally unique buildings inspired by, like, the Pueblos, like Lorenzo was saying, and inspired by, you know, Southwestern architecture. And they don't exist anymore. Like, they were literally torn down so that we could accommodate, like, parking. But I feel like we need to kind of look inwards and think about how we can make those things better. And I realize that preserving and updating a building that's a couple hundred years old is expensive. I get that. But you're also investing in the future and the past at the same time. And I think that that's what matters.
Yeah. There's an old building that was built like in 1890-something, right on the railroad tracks. And it used to be a brewery. It was the Glorietta Brewing Company.
I love that building.
Right on the railroad tracks.
You can still see the sign.
Yeah. Every time I go to Marble, I'm like, hey, you guys should invest in that building. Like, build a brewery there. Like, revitalize the brewing scene. And I was actually talking to Jotham from church.
Oh, yeah?
About that building.
Uh-huh.
And we were kind of talking. He knows a lot about the history of, like, breweries in Albuquerque.
Jotham is somebody that goes to our church, and he and his wife are partial owners in a brewery, a local chain here. So
the Bosque.
The Bosque Brewing Company.
But yeah, it was kind of take a shot. All right, but yeah,
it's like 9 o'clock in the morning.
Well, they could be listening some other time.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
But yeah, there's a lot of history of brewing in New Mexico, and you know.
Well, we do love our booze. Pretty
good stuff. But anyway, yeah, it's been a pretty interesting summer, just how things are working out, and yeah.
Sorry, I had a thought for a second.
Okay, are we talking more about buildings?
Well, no, about alcohol in New Mexico, actually.
Okay.
So my dad was in the wine business, and that's originally what brought us here. He got a job for a different wine distributing company. That's why we moved here, right? And interestingly enough, like, okay, I come from Oregon, it's wine country and everything like that, but New Mexico has some of the oldest, original, still functioning vineyards and grapevines in the country, other than California.
Yeah, I was actually reading about that. There was an article on CNN and I can probably find it and link it into the show notes for the show. But the vineyards here are older than California grapes.
Well, it's because the Spanish brought them over, and the priests
They used
and the
it for
friars,
communion.
Yeah, they used it for communion. So they had their own grapevines, and they would bring them over from Spain, and they would cultivate them here. And grapes do really like it here. There's a couple of really great vineyards in
Gruet.
yeah. Actually, we found out that Gruet Vineyards, their champagne is served at one of like the nicest restaurants in New York City.
New York City, yep, and LA
Awesome.
too.
So shout out Gruet.
Shout out Gruet. Take a shot.
Take a shot. But no, seriously, like we have, even that is kind of interesting in our history. We've got grapes in our backyard, and we really don't do anything to like.
I don't know if they're wine grapes.
No, they're regular
Eaten grapes.
grapes. But we don't do anything to really care for them except for maybe prune them in the fall.
Yeah,
And
it's a mature vine. It goes nuts. It's like taking over other trees right now.
But it just loves the climate. It's crazy. It loves the climate, and so we don't really have to do anything. But there's a lot of vineyards here with really old grapes, and it's kind of cool to think like you might be drinking some wine from New Mexico where the strain of grapes is like, from when the Spanish brought it over. That's pretty intense. Our children are bear crawling together.
Yeah, Juliet's bear crawling just because that's what she does, and then Riley's 2. He has no problem running.
Yeah,
But he's bear crawling behind her.
that's cute. So
yeah.
interesting history of alcohol.
I wish New Mexico found a way to kind of market itself a little bit better, though, because Oregon has they have their like little wine country. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And California has their Napa Valley. Like we need something like that. Like
Southwestern wine tours,
Yeah.
guided wine tours.
we have these vineyards. I guess in the North Valley there's a couple of vineyards where it's really nice little
Yeah.
chateaus.
Casa Rodena.
Yeah.
They have a beautiful, I don't know if you'd call it a campus or grounds. I looked at that for our wedding reception, and
Casa Rodena.
super expensive.
Where was the place we went?
It was in the North Valley.
Was it a vineyard?
No, it was
It was
not
just-
a
it
vineyard.
was
It was a
just a-
hacienda.
Oh.
But yeah, it would be cool. I mean, we have our New Mexico True thing, which I guess has improved tourism a little bit. I was reading something about that, and they said that it's increased tourism to New Mexico by like 15 to 20%, which is good. But then again, it's like people that aren't from New Mexico aren't going to understand like New Mexico True, I don't think. The thing that I would like to see happen here, because we have wine festivals and we have brew festivals. There's a really great one in Santa Fe in the wintertime. It's called Winterfest, and it's in the Santa Fe Farmers Market inside. And they have like, you pay an entrance fee, and then you can sample a bunch of craft beer and local like food, and it's awesome. What, Riley Boo? So that's kind of cool. But I think if they did like a wine or alcohol and food pairing tour in New Mexico, especially because we have such unique food, it would be an amazing experience. Not just like the bike and brew downtown where you rent that little bike and go to breweries. Like it's a start, but it's not the whole deal. It is not the whole enchilada.
What's that? Oh, the bike and brews?
Yeah.
I've
I
never-
mean, it's a cool thing, but I feel like we could do that on a classier scale.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. But, yeah, we're definitely a unique people here. I don't know. We've been talking a lot about New Mexico. I guess we've realized that we're here, so we just kind of
Just talk about it a little bit.
talking about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I follow a thing on Facebook. It's called New Mexico something. It's one of those, like, Facebook pages that follows the things about New Mexico. But they showed
Are
one
you
of
a
the...
New Mexiphile?
A Mexophile.
A New Mexiphile.
Never heard of that?
Like if you're a cinephile? No? Okay.
No, never. No, I'm not sure.
I think it might be.
But there was one that said, it said, have you tried our tacos or nah? It was like the little billboard sign. Have you tried our tacos or nah? Like, you don't get that unless you're from here, because that's just, the dialect.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah. Shout out to Joey.
Shout out to Joey. Maybe we should just call this like the shout out episode.
Yeah.
Our dog's
We're going to take
really
a pause. We
cranky.
should have gone to the store and gotten milk, but we didn't.
We forgot.
We didn't
Pause.
forget. We just didn't.
We'll be right back.
All right, we're back that after a trip to the grocery store, I got a couple gallons of milk. Juliet had a dirty diaper, and
That's parenting in a nutshell.
it's parenting. We're back, sitting back on our spot. But what were we talking about anyway?
Oh my gosh.
Albuquerque?
Yeah, but turn the water on? No, I
Well,
think we're good, bud.
Albuquerque?
Well, anyway, yeah, but I mean, we can move on from that.
I mean, you can. I just don't remember what we were talking about.
Well, before we hit record, we were actually talking about how the Art Museum in Albuquerque right now has it's a Movies in the Southwest exhibit. Because we have a really big, actually, surprisingly, culture of people filming movies here. We have studios, and we have, there's like an incentive actually for people that choose to film their movies here.
Yeah.
So that's
I
kinda nice.
found a website that shows all the movies that were filmed in New Mexico.
Yeah. The New Mexico Film Office. Yeah.
No, it was on IMDb.
Oh, cool.
But because I was watching Logan the other night when you were out with your friends,
Yeah.
I was watching Logan. Do you know what that movie is?
I don't even
So
know.
Logan is the name of Wolverine,
Oh, okay.
the X-Men, and this is like, Wolverine's older. Professor X is really old, but they live in this like bunker. I think it's supposed to be set in El Paso, but it was filmed here in New Mexico. And in fact, who's the guy's name? Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
When he was here filming it, he actually posted a lot of pictures of him on top of the Sandias, like just enjoying Albuquerque,
cool.
which it's always really nice.
To see
When-
people enjoying our state instead of
Right.
bashing it.
Yeah, because people who are here can't wait to get out, and people who live here and got out, like, give us crap about even being here. So
Do you remember they filmed a movie here called, like, I think it was The Eye or something like that? I don't. So they filmed this movie. It was called The Eye. It wasn't great except for the fact that it had Casey Affleck in it. Jessica Alba was the.
oh yeah, that was filmed in Stanley because there's a yellow house
Yeah.
in the middle of I remember because I lived in Moriarty and my dad worked in Santa Fe and we would pass that on I
It's
think
a cool
it's
house.
New
It's
Mexico
really neat.
41. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's on the back way to Santa Fe. And Jessica Alba made some comment about, like, how much she hated New Mexico, and, like, she's like, it's just terrible, and the only thing here is a McDonald's. And I'm like, wow, like, you really have not taken the time to even see what's here, if that's
Right.
what you think.
Yeah.
It was pretty ignorant, actually.
I wonder if Hugh Jackman liked it, maybe because it reminded him of Australia a little bit because he's Australian.
Yeah,
Because
could
it's
be.
really, there's mountains. I don't know if there's mountains in Australia. I guess there probably are, but I don't know if they're like
Bluffs or
big
something.
mountains.
Well, we could ask our friends that are from Australia.
Yeah. So,
Well-
but it's super hot in Australia. I know that.
Well, it's funny too because, like, the movie culture here is really quirky. Like, you have a lot of random movies that are filmed here, like Independence Day Resurgence, where I can't exactly say that we're proud of that movie,
Right.
but it was filmed here.
What was the name of that movie with the guy with the mask? He had to wear the mask and he was in a band. Like he had a big
my
bobblehead.
gosh. Yes, it was an
Like,
indie movie.
it was
Maggie
like a-
Gyllenhaal.
It was like Ed or something. Like just one name. It was
Yeah,
a one name
I
movie.
cannot remember, but it was a great movie.
Yeah, that was filmed here.
That was filmed here.
Well,
too.
partially here. I think partially was filmed like in
Northern California.
something like that.
No, but, like, we have a pretty cool history of movies and things being filmed here.
Riley's going to the goat heads.
He'll learn. We were actually having a drink on our date night the other night. We went to a brewery called Duel. It's like a, is it Belgian style brew?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a Belgian style brewery. And they had this picture frame with a pencil in it. Like, it was the frame around a pencil. And we were like, what's the deal with your pencil over there in that picture frame? And they were like, oh, yeah, Jeff Bridges. And we were like, what? And they were like, yeah, he came in for a beer a couple weeks ago. He's filming a movie, and he signed his ticket with that. And, like, we didn't want to ask him for an autograph because he was just enjoying his time. But, like, that was the pencil that he used. So we just thought, that's kind of funny. Let's frame it. So it's just quirky stuff like that you find out. And you're like, oh, yeah, it makes sense. And you have the old movies that were filmed here, like old Westerns, and then movies from the 90s, like Young Guns. That was actually filmed in it's like a surviving Old West town called Cerrillos, which if you ever end up coming to New Mexico, if you go to Cerrillos, it is literally like walking down the street of an old Western. It's really cool. And the population is like maybe 50 people. I mean, it's not crazy, but they've got a church and a saloon and, like, it's pretty neat.
Cerrillos?
Oh yeah, I love Cerrillos.
Yeah, Cerrillos is pretty cool. I was trying to get my memory to go on what Cerrillos is.
Yeah.
Because I mix up Cerrillos and Madrid.
Oh yeah. Well, it's easy to do. They're kind of in the same vicinity.
But yeah, Cerrillos was cool. Yeah, they had that museum. Did you say that?
Yeah.
The little museum and then.
Oh, and a saloon and a church and a
right.
big sprawling
Yeah.
hacienda.
Yeah. So, man, New Mexico's interesting. But
So Lorenzo's grandparents used to work on security sets
yeah,
for movies here.
Yeah, my grandma and her husband, not my bio grandpa, but yeah, they worked on the set of Young Guns.
Yeah.
And they were all about it. I think my grandpa like thought he was a sheriff or something.
That's really funny.
Because he had his white beard and.
One time my dad got asked to play a pastor in a movie because my dad was a pastor in real life.
Yeah.
And he had a beard, like a burly beard, and was wearing a cowboy hat. And somebody approached him and was like, "Hey, would you ever consider being in the movies?" And my dad was like,
Did your dad have a beard?
He did at the time.
Was it here?
Yeah, it was a couple years ago.
Huh.
And they said, "We need someone to play a pastor, and you'd fit the part. And can you ride a horse?" And my dad was like, "Well, I could do all of it except for ride a horse."
Yeah.
So
Teach him how to do it.
yeah. And then Lorenzo, his parents got a car from a movie set.
Oh yeah, that was a while back.
That's funny. Come on.
Yeah.
You should,
Yeah. What?
You should explain that because I think it's a great story.
Yeah, I was just. I was like third grade, and my dad bought a car from a movie set that my grandparents were working on, and the car was a stunt car. It was probably like I want to say like a 1983 like Chevy Caprice or something, stunt car. And the fender was all banged up, and it would rub on the tire. And yeah, my dad just had to take a sledgehammer every once in a while and pound out the fender so it wouldn't rub. He kept a sledgehammer in the trunk just for that reason. But yeah, it was pretty crazy.
It cracks me up. I love that story.
Yeah.
That's like some National Lampoon style stuff. I love it.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good memory.
Am I embarrassing you?
No, not at all.
All right. Well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
One time, I was downtown, like in my 20s, and we were going out, and we were headed to this bar with some friends, and I saw somebody crossing the street, and they had like giant burly like security guards around them, and I realized it was Scarlett Johansson, and she's really tiny.
Did you faint?
No, I'm not really like a starstruck person. Like, I don't know. I think celebrities are just people. It's not, I don't know. To me, they're just people that are doing their job, and that's cool. Like, that's what they're into. I wouldn't say that I idolize.
They're like the gods of our culture. Pretty much.
They're people.
Mm-hmm.
They put their pants on one leg at a time.
Or they have somebody in their entourage do it for them.
Maybe. No, I just remember seeing Scarlett Johansson, and the only thing I thought was,
Would you put on a movie star's pants for like $1 million a year?
Would I put on their pants?
Yeah, if they're like, hey, I kind of like you. You can put my pants on for me, and you get to hang out at these nice clubs with me and be in my entourage.
I don't know.
I wouldn't.
I mean, I think the money would be good. It'd be a really easy job, but at the same time, would it be an easy job?
Not if you have kids.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really want to be anybody's entourage. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and if you're getting paid to put someone's pants on, my question would be like, why aren't they putting their pants on themselves?
Yeah.
Are they that not humble that they have to have someone put their pants on for them? Or are they dysfunctional? Or what's the problem here?
True.
I would
Yeah.
ask if there's room for advancement, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Like, could I advance from the pants to, like, the jacket?
Yep.
And then the gloves? And then could I open the car doors? I mean, is there room to grow in this
Yep.
position?
Sure.
Is there benefits?
Are there benefits?
Is there retirement?
Probably
See, that's
not.
what I'm saying. These are the questions you ask when you're a
Probably
parent.
not. Yeah. So part of me moving on from our Portland hurrah is just reading a book, and I'm reading a book that you got me. It's called Faith Unraveled, and before it was called Evolving in Monkeytown by Rachel Held Evans. And
Why did they change the title?
I think it's a Christian publisher, Zondervan, or is that how you say it? Zondervan?
I don't know.
But Evolving in Monkeytown on a Christian publisher, I don't know. I would speculate that maybe that they had some qualms with it.
Well,
I'm not
maybe
too
if
sure.
They read the book, they would understand. Oh, that was lovely.
But Rachel Held Evans, I know about her from the Liturgist podcast.
Yeah, I think we've had this conversation, I feel like.
Maybe we did. Have you ever listened to Liturgist?
Once or twice.
Yeah.
Well, we went and saw Science Mike.
Oh, yeah. at the Lobo Theater
Yeah.
at Calvary Nob Hill.
Yeah.
So,
Pine cone.
pine cone. Good job. Yeah, this is the book I'm reading over the summer.
Okay.
Shout out to books.
Shout out to books. Wow, we are getting really desperate here for shout outs.
And shout out to Ryan P. Freeman.
Yeah, Ryan P. Freeman. That's my brother.
Mm-hmm.
He has a book or two or three. He's an author. He lives in Hannibal, Missouri, where he goes
The home
to
of Mark Twain.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say Mark Freeman, but it's Mark Twain.
No, it's definitely Mark Twain. Tom Sawyer, all that.
Mm-hmm.
He goes to the Mark Twain Brewery and writes. And he goes to the St. Louis Writers Guild and does that. And he's got a couple books out.
Looks really relaxing, by the way. I would love to just hang out and drink a beer with your brother and just, like, do our thing. Like, just, he'd be writing and I would probably just be playing Clash Royale and writing.
You said you were going to delete that, by the
did.
way. Yeah, right. I don't
My
believe that.
iPad is broken, so it's gone.
Oh, okay. So it took our 5-year-old dropping your iPad on accident, and that's what made you decide to delete it.
Pretty
Delete
much.
it, quote unquote, air quotes.
Yeah. But anyway.
You want a circle?
Yeah.
Do you want to draw a circle?
My bicycle.
Draw the circle with the
Yeah.
chalk.
So,
Fish.
No, not on your face.
RyanPFreeman.com is the website, by the way, as we talk to our kids. RyanPFreeman.com. Check out his books. Whoop!
Uh-oh.
A kid fell. Oh no. You okay, Bubba?
Can you draw a circle?
So, you want to wrap up, Linz?
Well, I think you should definitely plug that website and book that we were talking about just now, my brother.
Yeah, I did. RyanPFreeman.com.
Oh, his
Um,
.com, did not know.
He does have a .com.
Wow, fancy
Ryan,
pants.
Ryan, RYANP, Freeman. It's like the easiest thing to spell. I don't know why I'm spelling it.
And if you're looking for a job, he may or may not be looking for someone to put his pants on.
Yes. If you want to be in Ryan's entourage, let Ryan know, and he would be glad to welcome you into his Missouri life.
Yeah, there's definitely an opening for pants putter honor.
Pants putter honor. You will not get paid.
It's an internship.
You will have the privilege of putting Ryan's pants on. You will
One leg
get.
at a time.
You will get. You will get paid and privilege,
Yeah, maybe coffee and maybe beer every once in a while.
but probably not. Just.
But you will get a free tour of Hannibal, Missouri on the house. And he has a basement you might be able to sleep in.
But that's not guaranteed.
Not guaranteed.
But you get to put Ryan's pants on for sure.
So, if you're interested, hit him up on his website, RyanPFreeman.com. Check out his books. But seriously, check out his books. You can get them on Amazon, and they're fantasy fiction, and then he wrote another one that's a short story. So, check it out if that's your thing. Check it out if it's not your thing. Maybe you know someone whose thing it is. And thanks for looking.
Thanks for looking. Should we head out?
Yeah, we're going to go enjoy this Monday and maybe hit the art museum or something.
Maybe. All right, guys. Talk to you guys on the next
Peace,
one.
love, and beer.
Peace, love, and beer.